Hey everyone, how are you this week? Welcome to another episode of No Title Needed, our weekly show here at the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret, the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, USA. I am Cynthia Collins.
I am Scott Osborne.
As always. And today we have my pal, and maybe your pal too.
I consider him a friend.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
That's nice. Mr. Jeff Worrell. Jeff, thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's our honor. Jeff is a city council member at large. This is your second term?
This is my third term.
Wow, I'm behind the
Oh,
times.
Cindy, I'm a...
Yeah. You've been, to my knowledge, which isn't so great so far, obviously, but to my knowledge, you've been really involved in the Carmel community for at least over 30 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
I got safe there because I said over 30.
Over 30, that's right. Yeah. Not quite 40 yet, but over 30.
Yeah. So,
What is that exact number now?
yeah.
We've been here since 1988, but I got involved in Carmel Fest 33 years ago was kind of when I got started.
Right, because you were you remember the Rotary.
Yes.
And
yes.
that is the big
yeah.
Rotary
Right.
and fundraiser.
Mhm.
And that's how I met you. Yeah, that's how ATI
Yes.
met you.
Yes.
I think through Carmel Fest.
That sounds
I
right.
can't
Yeah.
think of any other way that we
Right.
would have met you.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But you really are this is just in my humble opinion, you really are a staple in Carmel. Like you really are.
Might even go as far to say Mr. Carmel.
Right.
We've heard a few
taking
times.
over the Mr. Carmel because Jack Badger used to be known as Mr. Carmel. You were very
He
close.
was.
And he was. You were very close with him. You sold the spark buttons with him. You were
Yep.
very good friends with him and Isla Badger. And so now Jack's passed away a few years now.
Right.
You kind of took over that, Mr. Carmel. You selling the spark buttons at Carmel Fest. You're basically everywhere. Like you are everywhere in Carmel.
Thank you. Well, I enjoy Carmel. I love Carmel. It is a place that has been very good to me. I had my business here, raised my family here, and now I'm trying to serve the community by giving back a little bit. It's been fabulous. I love this city.
And it's grown massively since 1988 when you moved here.
Yes,
I can't imagine all the changes you saw.
a lot. Even when Mayor Brainerd took over, I think the population, that was in 95, the population was only 25,000. So in 88, I'm sure it was, far below that. But and now we're 100,000. So it really is amazing.
Truly from farm town to city.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Farm town, suburb, city. Yeah, edge city.
So let me ask you, let's get on to this. You're writing an article now in Current.
Yes.
I read it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's nice.
Sure.
Thank you.
And sometimes I enjoy it. No, I'm just kidding. It's always great.
Well, you're the symbol of civility, Cindy.
Aren't I? We could talk about that, and we're going to. So what?
Yeah. that
No,
might
but
be
seriously, like, why'd you start writing that article?
frankly, what happened was the last election. It was a brutal election, kind of the first time in my memory where Carmel experienced Republicans and Democrats. Usually the Republicans, we would just eat each other and beat on each other, and then by May it was over. And to go through a two-party election, which is
Hinckley and
Yeah.
and
yeah, and I had
Nelson.
Right. Normally, what used to happen, because we were typically a one-party community, is that it was decided in May. But this time, for the first time in a long time, I had an opponent in November as well, and that was unusual. And I'm not saying it was the people, but the way our community responded to and has been changing as far as civility goes, really inspired me to say we can do better.
Yeah.
And so on January 10th, 2024, I invited, what had actually happened was it was kind of a rough election, a campaign, and there was a lot of name calling.
Yeah, there was.
At the mayor's race. And I saw this book, and I don't even know where I saw it, but it was The Soul of Civility. And then the subtitle was principles to help heal ourselves and our society. And I thought, oh my gosh, I could really use a dose of that.
Okay.
So I picked it up, started reading it after the election, and realized, oh my gosh, every page, it felt like there was another message I wanted to share with our community. So I said, I got to get this author up to Carmel, and so I did.
And then did you have a forum with her?
Well, so, you're reading a book and it's a hardcover, it's fancy schmancy, I'm going, okay, well, I want this author to come up, and I'm going to have to deal with, can I raise money for the speaking fee? Can I get a room at the Carmichael? How am I going to pay for all of this? But I've got to get her up here. So I reached out to the Carmel Library, Liz Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, Liz is great.
Liz is great.
She's really
And she goes, try this. Tell them, because I met, I called first the author's publicist, and they're, it was a speaking fee with 2 numbers in it, a large speaking fee and transportation, all that. So I go to Liz, I go, well, I would like to get this author here. I'll raise the money. I know I can do it. I can sell spark buttons. I can raise money for a speaker's fee.
Yeah, you're used to that.
Yeah. And so Liz goes, try this. Tell them Carmel doesn't pay for authors to come here. I go, really? I can do this? She goes, try it. So I get on the phone and I'm like sweating. And I said, well, we really want Alexandria Hamilton, or Hudson is her name.
He came back too, Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
He made an appearance
Lexi
as well.
And I'm talking to her publicist, and I said, well, Carmel, Indiana, we don't pay speaking fees. And the lady goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay. And so off we were to the races. And so then I learned, Lexi lives in Indianapolis. Oh my gosh. So it cost me I had to go down and pick her up and take her back.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was crazy story.
So then you had her speak, and you had an engagement of her speaking about her book.
Well, I'd love to tell you about that, because January 10th at the library, the Carmel Library, January 10th, the fire marshal was there, and we had to turn people away. We had over 323 people in person. We actually had stopped taking reservations because we were over, but people kept showing up.
Right.
And then we had another 75 people online because we were live streaming. Wow. And so right then and there, I knew our society, our community, they're hungry.
They
have an interest. Yeah.
They needed it. They
exactly.
wanted to hear what she had to say.
That's exactly
so
right.
I'm sure now from that, then you started writing the article about civility.
Well, yeah. So one of the things that you're absolutely correct. So we had Lexi come speak. The crowd was, mesmerized. It was a fantastic evening. We had her speak again. Then Fishers asked me to come over there and help them get something started in civility. Yeah. And it was in March that I started writing the article.
Not too far after that. Okay. All right. We have to take a quick break. Jeff, this is so interesting. And we'll be back with Jeff Worrell, a city council member at large, but also Jeff writes the column about civility in Current. Current and Carmel, Current and Fishers, Current, is it in all the
No, just Current and Carmel.
Just Current and Carmel.
So Carmel-centric.
You are. All right, we'll be right back.
About to start back up.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we are back with No Title Needed over here at Hotel Carmichael and Feinstein's, and we have Jeff Worrell with us today. And Jeff, I got a question for you.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
What seems to be your main focus on your weekly posts in the Current?
Like it is civility, but what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a great question. Thank you for asking it. One of the things I learned after the speaking engagements was people would come up and say, I want to be involved. How can I get involved? You should do this. You should do that. We need to get into schools. We need to get into work, all these kind of things. And it was almost overwhelming. The one thing that I could do to try and keep the civility conversation alive was to beg the Current and Carmel to give me some space, which they absolutely generously did. And so that is the method. That's the purpose of my column, is to keep the conversation alive. You guys were aware of it. and I'm grateful for that. And so that's what I'm trying to do is keep it going. And we do have some future plans coming up on some new things for civility, but that's the purpose of the article.
One more question on that. Can we have a sneak peek on what the current project you're writing on right now?
Sure. Yeah. December 10th, which is my next article. It was all about, right now, the last couple articles I've been featuring, talking about gratitude, which is a sense of gratitude is part of civility. And so this time I asked Carmel to dream, is it possible to exhibit gratitude in your daily life, and by maybe giving a wave to a police officer as they go by, or thanking the sanitation worker, write a letter to the editor about the person that held the door for you. Just, are there daily things we could do to keep gratitude
Little
front
things,
and center?
Huge. Just tiny little polite things throughout the day.
Yeah, so I've tried to list, but last week it was about, or this week I should say, and which is up now, it's about, I was behind a car and I saw a bumper sticker that said, grateful no matter what. In any circumstance, can you figure out how to have an attitude of gratitude? And that sticker comes from one of our local churches, Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Attitude of gratitude could be a sticker in itself.
It is.
Okay.
I'm sure it is somewhere. All right. Okay, go, Scott.
You're up next.
No, we have to do the question of the week.
The question of the week.
That's
There
always
now.
you.
Right.
There, it's so fast. I know.
So
Time flies.
this
Jeff
week's
Worrell.
question of the week is, how do you process, then make a big decision?
Whoa.
That's a good one for you.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Well, huge decisions have you had to make?
Yes. Well, I will share with you the promise that I made to the people in 2015 when I first ran. I said that when it comes to making decisions and representing the people of Carmel, I would do a couple of things, several things, I should say. Number one, whose idea this decision that I'm about to make will benefit, or who will get the credit, I don't care. I will consider every idea based on its merits. And what I'd noticed previously to that, if it's the mayor's idea, I hate it. If it's my idea, I love it. That kind of stuff was going on in politics. So I said, it doesn't matter to me. Next, what I would do is I would base every decision on data, facts, and get rid of the emotion. Because the emotion is just, it actually can destroy good government.
Yeah.
Letting emotion
Muddies the water.
It is.
Tell you.
And so then I would not care who gets the credit as long as I was making a decision that's based on facts and was, in my opinion, what was best for our community. That's how I would go about making and that's what I still continue to do today.
And that's why you're awesome.
Wonderful answer. Yeah.
That's why you're excellent.
Yeah.
Jeff Worrell. Oh, Scott. God, one.
I guess we gotta do it too.
I know.
I guess for me, I start out with a blank piece of paper, and whether that problem be on a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional or just an internal problem, I start by writing it out, drawing it out, and trying to get my best understanding of what the problem actually is. Sometimes visually, sometimes through a list, and follow a series of categorizations, sometimes more detail on say a sketch, and then I start action following that little process. But
good for you. I can learn from that.
Okay. Well, you're not going to learn anything from me because
I don't know.
You know what? I have to say honestly, if I have my gut instinct, tells me that it's right, then I go with it. It's just a feeling I get.
Yeah.
I know I have to make this decision, and I try not to knee jerk.
Yeah.
Because it's a very easy thing to do. Knee jerk into it is, I've had to learn about that because I can do that sometimes. But if I feel in my gut, or I feel that okay, no, this is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I just go for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're making a decision and it's going to affect the rest of your life, I just jump. I just go for it and jump. Sometimes it's, you're like, ugh, but you got to do that sometimes.
Sometimes it is just like that. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the best way I can answer. I don't know.
I can take some. So kind of
You don't need
step
anything
back
from me.
Step back and think about it a little bit before you say it.
If I were in a city council meeting, I'd be
Oh, I bet it'd be
they'd
fun.
be holding me by the way.
I bet it'd be
flailing.
Fun. Maybe people would tune into our city council meetings.
Oh my God! Yeah, the ratings might go right up. All right, thank you so much, Jeff. I think Jeff is going to be recurring on the show here, talking about different sections of Civility and your article in Current. I think you're going to be back. We could always use a little bit of that. People. It seems like people can't have a conversation now. Of course, some people can, of course, but it seems like
Treading lightly.
It is. It's like you're walking on eggshells. You're treading lightly of the way you have to say things, but you should be able to agree to disagree. That's just the way it is. It sounds so simple, but you should be able to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's the way, actually, when I grew up, that's the way politics actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just talking, just talking about politics. That's the way it was. You could disagree.
Even when I grew up,
You could disagree and then go have dinner together.
Right.
Or go, okay, yeah, I don't disagree, and go have a drink together.
That's right.
I mean, you'd be the, it's like the Supreme Court justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Scalia.
Right.
They were head to head.
Right.
And then they go and have dinner, and their families were friends. I always think about that.
Yeah.
And that's an excellent example.
Yeah. And Reagan and Tip O'Neill did.
Reagan and Tip O'Neill sit down over a bottle of scotch.
Yeah. And a cigar.
That goes. But they did.
That's right.
They did,
Great.
and they were too opposed. And it has to be that. Come on, we need to have that balance. I'm not going to say anything more about that because that's
So when I come back, thank you for the invitation.
Sure.
I think one thing that people get confused is kindness and civility. You can actually be kind of angry at someone and still be civil about it.
Of course.
So maybe what I'll do when I come back is kind of define what is civility.
We all just get to an argument.
Oh, that would
be fun.
Great TV.
Let's give it a try.
But I'll come back with what is civility.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
That, of
thanks,
course.
Jeff.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Give you a big old hug. Thank you for joining us. No title needed. Cynthia Collins.
Scott Osborne.
Do you see we have our little holiday display here because the holidays are upon us? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Exciting times.
Oh, it is. And crazy. All right. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time. Toodaloo.